Is anything happening?
It says we're
What?
live.
Oh my God.
But there's no
You gotta hit.
Hello, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to another Demystify the Divine weekly readings and tools to connect. It seems to be the way of things that we are running into all sorts of technical issues. So bear with us. You may have heard me saying, I don't know if we're live. I think we're live. There was just stuff. So, I have learned to roll with things, and, it is what it is. And it adds a little bit of humor and flavor to the show. So glad for everyone to be here, hoping that you're doing well. And I hope that you had an amazing week last week, that you found some peace in amongst the interesting times that we're in. I guess that's the only way to say it. So, if you like what you see here, feel free to like, subscribe, and click the bell on my YouTube. Also, we have a very exciting announcement today. I want everyone to pay attention, get pens, get papers out, get your calendars out. Demystify the Divine is moving to a new date and time. We will be seeing you next Wednesday, August 3rd. So actually it's a week from this Wednesday, I should say. So August 3rd, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are moving to the evening time slot, and this is a time slot where I do my show Winged Wednesday, which now is going to be combined, and we're going to be offering the Demystify the Divine. And it feels like a really great shift, because a big part of my mission and my goal in life and my purpose in life is to help as many people as I'm supposed to. And in order to do that, I got to be visible. And as we all need to be visible. And I have built the Winged Wednesday kind of show and channel for the last 5 years. And so I think it will be a great way to combine, to give everyone an opportunity that wants to watch the show, to watch it at a normal time, at a time when people tend to be free. And let's shift it up. Let's do some fun new things. And I feel like it's newness. We need to do some newness. I'm seeing something on the screen here. I don't know, Keone, if I need to do something with this. It's telling me something about Facebook needing to go live. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I clicked the go live, and I don't know if it's doing anything or not, but
It's not you. It's Facebook's not connecting.
Okay. It's flashing in my face, and I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to pay attention to it, but I'm trying to talk to the audience.
It's nothing you did wrong. There's a connection issue. Like, it's barely connecting to YouTube, but now we're on, and I will work on fixing the Facebook problem. You just keep talking.
All right, I'm going to keep talking and just ignore the thing that keeps flashing in my face. So I apologize. Again, tech, we just roll with it. So let's dive in and see what our phrase of the week or our word of the week is today. I'm going to kind of channel and go within and see what our dream team wants to let us know, and we'll take it from there. Effervescence. So I love how they come through with all sorts of weirdness. So the word this week, the word of the week, is effervescence. And effervescence, of course, is the beautiful bubbles, the bubbles that we get from the pop, the soda, the bubbles that, surface. It's the effervescence of life, and how that effervescence kind of gives us lightness, gives us freedom, gives us buoyancy. And I want to say that this week, I feel that this is the word of the week, because this week we need to be more intentional about how we are bubbling up to the surface, how we are dealing with things that are bubbling up to the surface, and giving us permission to be a little more lighthearted and to not take life so seriously. When we talk about effervescence and things bubbling up to the surface, there's also this energy. I mean, basically what it is it's air bubbles, and the air bubbles are lighter than the liquid that they're in. And so that's why they rise. And of course, if it's a liquid that you can drink, it, pops and bubbles. There's a sensation to the tongue. And I feel very much that this week it's about connecting to the sensuality of our life, connecting to the five senses, having the experiences. What is being presented in my life right now? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like to the touch? Is there a sensation that I am experiencing in relation to this random thing that's showing up in my world? There is a purpose for everything that comes up. Even if that purpose is to not have a purpose, it's still a purpose. So I feel like the message this week is to not take life so seriously, to allow what comes to the surface to bubble up and to feel into it, sense it, touch it, taste it, smell it, experience it in a different way than the way you normally would. We are so in our heads about everything. We have been taught, trained, for centuries to be very logical and rational. And the effervescence, there's nothing logical and rational really about effervescence, unless you're a scientist and want to talk about the reason why it does what it does. But ultimately, we don't care as a person when you're drinking that pop, you're having that soda, you love the experience of the carbonation because it's bubbly on the tongue. It's an experience, right? So this week, it's diving into the experience without taking things so seriously, recognizing that things are bubbling up to the surface. And it's not so much that we have to, I'm going to say, we don't even have to analyze it necessarily. We just need to experience it, allow ourselves to acknowledge how it feels, how it smells, how it sounds. And in that, maybe there's some information for you. Maybe it's just to have an experience. Not everything in life has to be so, I'm going to say, regimented. Not everything in life has to be so tickety boo, dollars and cents, I's dotted and T's crossed. And I feel like that's the message this week, is be a little more in flow and be very present and in the moment. When you have a bubble popping on your tongue, you're paying attention to that bubble. You're not necessarily paying attention to the 57,000 thoughts that might be going through your head, or the randomness that you don't need to worry about that's out in your environment. It's, what am I experiencing now? How am I bringing it into my space? I feel like that's really important. So, all right, it is time to pull some cards. And I can see that Keone has disappeared. So there's some connectivity issues here. So I'm hoping that as I'm doing this, that there's, people can see, people can hear. We are pulling cards from the tarot deck today. That is the Syrian Starseed Tarot. And I've pulled from this deck before on the show. These are ginormous cards, so I always have to shuffle them the opposite way. And I have kind of big hands. My mother used to call them piano hands all the time, piano fingers. And these cards are huge for that. So yeah, I shuffle them the other way. So let's see what they're going to say to us around effervescence. Oh, I love it. Master of Flames. So Master of Flames is the King of Wands in the traditional tarot, in the Rider-Waite-Smith. And so the fact that we're getting Master of Flames, this is the, I am on the path of mastery. I am leading from my soul. I am leading with my soul energy. I am connected deeply to my passion, and I don't need anyone else to validate that passion or to give me permission to be able to enact upon it. The buck stops with me. I'm the king of my castle. So I get to move forward, and I get to set down the rules. I get to determine the rules of the game. I get to move forward using what I find is relevant to my now. So I really feel like the message this week for a lot of us when we're talking about this master of flames is understanding in your own life where you are giving away your power to people, places, and things that really have no bearing or weight on how you're choosing to live your purpose. And I'm going to say to you, even those who are very strong in their purpose, you need to evaluate this, because each of us, it stands to reason that because we are in such a shift and a change, that's going to trickle down into our everyday, into the individual. So the collective is obviously in a major shift. How are we going to feel that in our individual space? So I feel like this week, it's very much a soul week. It's a soul-based week where we're really connecting to purpose. What is my contribution? What is it that gets me out of bed in the morning? What is my passion? And for those of you who feel that you're not really sure how to answer that question, you might be, I call it the phoenix growing. You're in the womb. You don't really have a vision yet. You don't really know what's forming. You're just kind of floating around and waiting for something to show up. For those of you who are in that space, the message here is to put a little more intention around what is it that you would like to master in your life from an internal perspective, from an individual perspective. Not, I want to, master the art of teaching, or I want to master the art of karate. It doesn't feel like that. It's more about what would you like to master within yourself. For me right now, because I'm just riddled lately with imposter syndrome, the answer to that question for me would be, I want to master my confidence. I want to master my knowing and my ability to show up and be here now. So you want to formulate your mastery path based on something that is an internal struggle or an internal concern, or something that is a block, something that limits you from being able to move forward fully, wholly, and deeply. I'm also getting a hit around, I'm noticing the beautiful sun over his shoulder here, and it looks like flame. It looks like fire. And I'm going to say this week, I do feel that there is something coming up that indicates to me that there's something that we are going to be releasing as a collective. And I'm not sure exactly what this is, because as a human collective, we're talking globally, there are many cultures that have differing beliefs, differing approaches, differing cultural rituals and understandings of things. But I'm going to say we are going to collectively release something, and we're going to release it we're going to throw it on the pyre. It's something that we are intentionally saying, this isn't working anymore. We're no longer going to do it this way. We're going to do it another way. And perhaps this is just happening, I want to say, energetically in the collective. And it might not be there might not be a physical representation of it until later, but there's going to be an energy of, we need to release this. And I feel like if there is something that comes up for you where you're in that space of, I'm releasing, globally, we need to release this. Globally, this needs to change. Globally, this needs to shift. Even having that thought and saying the words is putting that energy into the collective. So I feel like there's an energy in the collective where the majority of us are going to be feeling the same thing. Like, this needs to change. This needs to shift. And it's going to be thrown on the pyre. When we throw something on the pyre, we are releasing it. We are transforming it. We are giving it up to the spirits, to source, to say, this needs to shift and change. It needs to become something else. Its spirit needs to be released so that it can transform into a new form, a new direction. And so I feel like that's something that we're all going to be faced with. We're all going to be examining and exploring. And yes, the transformation is happening within, but there's also, I feel, going to be a collective aspect. And of course, like I said, when we look at this, it's the sun with the rays of the sun going into the clouds. But as I pull it away and I'm looking at it from this vantage point, I'm seeing flame. I'm seeing fire. So I feel very much that we are going to be collectively releasing something that isn't working for anybody. And then what's coming next? When that spirit is finally released, there's relief in the collective. And it's in that space of relief that we can now actually create a vision for where we're going. I also feel on an internal level or an individual level, there's a real energy here around stepping into your own leadership. And whether that's leadership of yourself and your choices, taking on more responsibility for your own choices, or whether that is leadership in the outside world. I feel that leadership is something that people are going to be really stepping into, really intentionally examining and applying. So I feel that there's a lot of application this week. This is a week, like I said, it's a soul week. So there's a lot of doing. There's a lot of action-oriented energy, a lot of divine masculine energy. So don't be surprised if this week you are feeling the need to do things, to get up and put something into motion. Don't necessarily stop yourself from doing that. Just make sure that that action is going to suit the purpose or suit the ultimate goal. This is not a week to throw spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. This is the week of inspired, intentional action. That's where our leadership comes in. We're owning that something needs to shift and change. We're owning that we would like to move forward. So we're owning an action that we're going to put forth, and owning the energy that is being put into that and also will come out as a result of that. So ownership, leadership, responsibility. The Oracle deck for this week is from yours truly's deck, my Feathers of Wisdom. It's the Feathers of Wisdom Oracle deck, Black Feather Intuitive. We have got third eye. What energy are you receiving? And wasn't I just talking about the responsibility for the energy that you put into something and also the energy that's going to come out? So this makes a lot of sense after we've just talked about, Master of Flames, that King of Wands energy, and how leadership within and without is going to affect us. So when we're talking about third eye, of course, this is the third eye chakra. This is where we receive our spidey senses, our intuition. It is where we access esoteric wisdom and knowledge, perhaps through our Akashic records, perhaps through dreams, perhaps through intentional meditation. And it is the overall vision, the overarching vision of our lives. And so when we're talking about this third eye, what energy are you receiving? I feel like the Oracle message this week is really kind of saying, hey, this is the action. And now, because of the action, what are you receiving as a result? And what are you going to do with that information once it's received? So if we have inspired action, and action always creates a reaction or a response to something. So this is what are you receiving? What is the response that you're receiving? And what do you want to do with it? So I'm feeling collectively that there is going to be a focus on filling the space that has been created. And I'm going to say, we do not want to create space by getting rid of something that no longer serves to fill it up with other stuff that also isn't going to serve. So as a collective and individually, it's important that each of us understand that it's okay to sit in space and emptiness and not know what is going to go into that space yet, and be okay with the fact that it's not going to fill up right away. I feel like we're in a time and in an energy shift this week where it's less about needing to fill it and more about needing to sit in the space to feel what it feels like to have that space and that room. How does that change your perspective? Does that change the way you receive your information? Does this mean that you're able to receive more And by sitting in that space, maybe you decide, I don't really want to fill this space up. Maybe I want to take a minimalist approach to it. Maybe I want to give myself time to figure out what the space itself would like to become. So there's an energy of waiting, and I'm going to say it's pregnant pause, because we need to sit if you think about pregnant pause, it's a pause that has something there that's still growing but hasn't fully formed. It hasn't fully come to its truest potential. And we need to give it time to allow it to find its potential. So once we release, it is not right away the goal to fill it up. The goal now is to allow our third eye activation, to allow that third eye energy to flow into that space and reveal to you what it may or may not want to become. And of course, we always have choice. We always have free will. But you've got to, it being a space, let's say it's a blank canvas or a movie theater, you want to, a movie screen. If you're trying to choose which movie you want to watch, maybe you're going to see little vignettes, you're going to see little previews of things. And then from there, you can choose from the preview which one feels right, which one is going to bring more effervescence into your life, which one is going to give you the bubbly sensation on the tongue that helps to keep you in the now, focused in your now, rather than getting trapped in your mind, in the monkey mind of things. I also love this card's color because it is indigo. And I'm going to say there's a special message for indigo kids, indigo adults, and I'm going to say crystals as well. It is important for you to really pay attention to how you're using your energy and who you are putting into your space right now. This week, it's very important that you, again, tying into this message, not fill your space with people, places, and things. Even if that's your normal pattern, even if that's your go-to, take this week to not fill the space. Allow the space to let you know what it wants to become. That's the space in your mind. That's the space in your heart. That's the soul space that comes up. So anyone who is an indigo, you're used to tearing down structure. This is not a week to tear down structure. It's inspired action based on something that's already been done, but it's not initiating new action. There's no initiation here. It's, okay, I've created space, and now let me sit in that space and let that space tell me what it wants to become. So indigos tend to have this desire, this need to tear down and eradicate what isn't working and clear the decks and bring something new in right away. This week is not the week to bring in the new. This is the week to sit in the space. I feel like that's the message all the way through. Indigos have a harder time with this because you are programmed, in essence, to fix what's broken. And there's drive in that. You're not going to sit back and just allow things to unfold. It's, okay, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. I'm driven. I'm highly driven. This is not a week to drive. This is a week to cruise control. This is a week to park and observe. So take that into consideration. All right. Keone, are you with us?
I am here.
Awesome. Awesome possum. So I am going to tune in and see what questions I get for some card pulls. Do we have anybody who is coming on live today?
So we're not going to pull a feather?
Oh, I forgot the feather. Thank you.
Look, now it's your turn.
So we are pulling a feather right now.
All right. Sweet.
I'm slightly distracted because I have one of my fur babies. So I always have Merlin in my my recording studio because he most of the time is pretty quiet. He uses bone and he just lays here and he's happy and content to be with us. And then the kitty cats cannot be in here because they're roaming all over everything. I have that foam stuff on the wall to stop the sound or absorb the sound. They climb on that and tear it down. They try to knock down the lighting. So they're not allowed in the space, but they sit outside the door. But Mama.
Well, you want me to tell you something that'll make you a little happy? I can't get this cat to behave, but every time I do your show, she comes and lays right here. I don't know if it's the sound of your voice. every time I do your show. So I just need you to be on. I'm just going to record your voice and play that all day.
And that will balance out the energy, right? That's so sweet. I love that.
What are we pulling? What can I spell? You know, you got me with the effervescence. I had to Google it because I almost put effervescence. I was like, you know what? That's why she's.
Well, you were probably going to put effervescence on there because I mispronounced it the first time I said it, but it's really effervescence. Yeah. Well, you spelled it right, so you're good. You're golden. Yeah, they surprised me with that too. I'm like, what the hell kind of message is that going to be with effervescence? I'm telling you, they throw me all kinds of shit, but it's not shit. It's actually quality. Yeah. I just have to open to receiving it. I'm like, all right, it is what it is.
I'm happy to be back. I wonder if anybody missed me.
Oh, I think everybody missed me.
In the chat if you missed me. If I don't get anybody says they missed me, I'm going to be sad the rest of the day, just let you know.
Well, I missed you. I missed you. So we've got spiritual alignment. This is our feather for this week, and it's on a beautiful green feather. So this has been a message that's been coming up a lot for a lot of different people lately, is the spiritual alignment. And I feel like the message is literally just that. Everything that's transpiring right now is to bring us all into spiritual alignment collectively and globally. I'm feeling that when I'm looking at the green, because I think Earth, I think the ball of Earth, the blue and green. And from an individual level, it's helping us to really connect to the heart space. And even though it's a soul week, the energy of the soul this week, I feel that the soul is saying, hey, I'm going to support you. I'm going to provide foundation for the heart to actually be able to speak its truth and to find its alignment out in the world. So the spiritual alignment message is literally just to let every one of us know that we're in good stead, that everything is happening the way that it's supposed to happen to bring everyone into alignment. And that's what we really need to focus on. So thanks for that reminder with the feather. I would have completely forgotten.
I don't want you to yell at me later. No, you never
yell.
Never
yell. I'm not going to yell at you. All right, but I am going to go into my happy place now and figure out what our questions are. So you take it over.
No problem. Well, everybody, like Stacey said earlier, Demystify the time will be moving to Wednesday starting next week at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube. Watch either place and we will get your messages. Remembering that coming on live during the Grab Your Deck session, we'll get your cards read first, and then we will go to the chat. Sometimes we will alternate if we're having technical issues, but if you want those in first, make sure that you come on live, but we will try to get to as many of the chat as we can. Let us know if you're pulling your own cards from your own deck. Tell us in the chat the deck that you're pulling it from and what 2 cards that you pulled, and we'll go ahead and get those read. If you come on live, you can show the card that you pulled, or you can just have Stacey pull a card for you. Either way is good. We're just happy that you're here and getting some divine, I don't know if it's called intervention, but I think it's intervention for me, and it's just divine for everyone else. We'll get that done. You can also, and thank you, Stacey, for letting me plug myself. You can also catch some different types of shows on Keone Productions on YouTube. We have shows from talk shows, political shows, to fun shows, shows about aliens, food tasting shows, and everything else. I didn't promote that one show, Stacey. You know which one.
You're fine. But actually, I was just going to say, I think it was last week or the week before, I was on In the Stars with Dwayne, and we were talking about tarot and oracles and the difference between them. So that's definitely a show that I think my viewers would enjoy.
A good one if you guys want to check that out on Keone Productions on YouTube. It's In the Stars with Dwayne. Stacey was our guest, and they broke down the meanings of tarot cards and oracle cards if you still quite don't get it and where they're from, the history of it. And that show differs from what Stacey does because it's more of an informative show. So it's a different type of feel. But that was an excellent interview with her if you want to go watch her in all her glory.
Yeah, I think my viewers would enjoy that. So, okay, here are our cards this week for our card pulls. The first card that you want to pull is what card energy will help you embrace your effervescence this week? What card energy will help you embrace your effervescence? And the second card is what card has a message for you around your spiritual alignment this week? So we're switching it up. All right. So who's first?
And I'm going to stay on here with you the whole time because we're having all kinds of technical issues, and I
Yeah.
want to come back in. But we have the lovely, amazing, I think last week was her first week. I don't know. I've been gone for 2 weeks. We have the wonderful Karen.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
Hi.
Yay, we have sounds today.
You see what happens when I'm here? You see what happens?
You did it.
We just need your energy, Keone. We just need your energy. You're the glue.
All right.
I
Hi,
also
Karen.
switched to my
So
phone.
nice
Hi.
to see you.
Sorry. Hello.
Hello. I guess we've got a little delay. Nice to see you. Would you like me to pull some cards for you, or do you have your own cards that you're pulling?
I do, but I'd like you to pull for me if you wouldn't mind.
Sounds great. Would you like tarot, oracle, or a combo?
I think I'll let you choose.
Oh my goodness.
That's here.
Huge choice today.
I'm feeling today. I love it.
Love it. All right. Well, we're going to do a tarot pull for the first one. What card energy will help you to embrace your effervescence?
Did you pick the black feather deck?
I didn't. I'm doing the Syrian starseed, but the feather deck is going to be for the spiritual alignment question. All right. So what card energy will help you to embrace your effervescence? Ooh, we've got 9 of orbs. So 9 of orbs is 9 of swords. It is definitely a card traditionally seen as a card of sorrow through control. So what I'm going to say to you is what will help you to embrace your effervescence is to let go a little bit of control and understanding that it's our monkey mind, it's our ego voice that often creates the anxiety or creates this need to, I have to know that everything is going to go a certain way in order for me to feel safe, in order for me to be able to have fun or to let loose. And the effervescence is going to come through in the, I don't need any of that stuff. I'm going to choose to be light and bright. I'm going to choose to bring that energy into my space right now in this moment. I'm also feeling for you this week that you're going to have a number of different opportunities to actually be able to bring this effervescence message to others through the way that you approach it. So it's kind of like being in a meeting and everybody is feeling sour and stern or bummed out about something. And you're the one who's like, hey, have a gummy bear. Look at, I got my Pez. You want a Pez? Let me pass you a Pez. I feel like you're going to be bringing that almost whimsical kind of energy or that innocence to the mix. And through that, I feel that you're going to be representing that 9, which is I'm putting an end to this heaviness. I'm putting an end to the energy by allowing the light of me, the air of me to bubble up to the surface and to give that sensation of something other than the heaviness, something other than the sorrow. And I saw your expression and you're like, oh, that's heavy. Like that's like no pressure there. It's not about pressure. It's about just recognizing that I can show up in any way that I feel. I choose to be happy. And whatever way that looks, that's how I'm going to show up, regardless of where everybody else is at. This is not a time to read the room. This is a time to read the room from the perspective of how can I shift the room?
Yeah.
So I feel that's an important message.
Yeah.
The second question, what card has a message for you around your spiritual alignment? Oh, this one just.
Uh-oh, we got a one that jumped out?
It did. And guess what? It's another 9. So the 9s are important. You're coming to your own conclusions this week. And through these conclusions, you are rising into your own power. And this makes a lot of sense with the card. You've got the Empower card. The message is know yourself. So I'm feeling like in terms of your spiritual alignment, this is what's going to help you to get into that alignment. It's no matter what else happens, it's not that you're not listening to anyone else. It's more that you're going to listen to other people and you're going to see or receive everything that they have to say, including what I'm saying to you right now, as, okay, that's an interesting perspective, or that is an interesting opinion, and I'm going to weigh it accordingly. I'm going to bring it into my energy space. I'm going to sit with it for a while and see how it resonates. And if it resonates, awesome. I'm absorbing it all and I'm applying it. And if it doesn't resonate, awesome. I'm releasing it to go out and do what it needs to do. So I feel like for you, what has a message for you around your spiritual alignment? It's really in learning to trust yourself, stepping into that soul space, soul essence, and allowing that soul flame and soul fire to navigate what you choose to put your focus on.
Yep. So much of what you read for me last week sort of just manifested this morning in a really heavy, intense way. And everything that you had said previously today really resonated kind of in terms of where I am. I pulled 2 cards, one of which was about action. I need to take action, but the other was have patience. So it's sort of like you need to move and change things, but then you need to kind of be still and see where you go next. But everything that you just said in this reading also just made a whole lot of sense.
I'm so
thank you.
glad. Absolutely.
Thank
you for sharing. And thanks for reaching out last week too. That truly made my month, to be honest.
Thank you. I'm glad. Thank you.
It made my month. So I appreciate that. Well, I'm sending you lots of energy to lift the heaviness of today, to be effervescent in your approach to it, to not take it too seriously, and to understand that things are going to move and flow in their own ways. And you can be more of an observer, and you can bring some of that playful innocence to the energy, and it will help. It will help.
There was a lot of good clearing of things that needed to be cleared. So it was in the end a good result.
Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week.
Thank you too.
Take care.
All right. Thank you, Karen. Okay. And then we have a card to be pulled for Cynthia Knock.
All right. Cynthia.
She said she missed me.
Aw, that's so sweet. We all missed you. Hakeem was great. And Hakeem's energy is just different. So, difference is good. Variety is good. And we also like what we get used to. And it's always fun to have you, Kaomi. Okay. So what card energy will help you to embrace your effervescence? We got 7 of chalices. So this is the 7 of cups. And some people have mixed feelings about the 7 of cups in the tarot. I happen to love the 7 of cups because I feel that it is a card of choice. And it's interesting that for the effervescence question, you got cups, you got water, and one of the cups, there's actually bubbles that are coming out of the cups. So I think that's a clear message as well about the effervescence. So I feel for you, the card energy that helps you embrace your effervescence is by choosing it, choosing to stay light and bright, choosing to understand that things that are coming up to the surface right now, as I said in the general reading, we don't have to examine it. We just need to allow it to release itself. It's air that is trapped in the liquid, and it just needs to be released. And then there is relief in the release. So I feel like for you, it's understanding that, things are coming up to the surface. I don't need to get weighed down into it. I need to literally go, oh, thank you for coming up to the surface, because now I can just say goodbye to you. And I have a visceral or a tangible experience of that concluding, that chapter being done, that situation no longer being my issue or my problem or in my sphere. The 7 is really important as well here for you. 7 is a divine number. 7 is a number of manifestation. It is a number of manifestation. So the 4 and the 7 are both, they both have elements of manifestation or manifesting energy with them. The 4 is laying the foundation for that manifestation. The 7 is this is the last chance. We're dealing with the prototype, and this is the last chance to tweak the vision before we put it into mass production. And so I feel for you here also in terms of this effervescence, there is something that's coming up for you this week, that there is a certain level or energy of conclusion that you're working towards, but there's one final decision that needs to be made before you move into that energy. And you want to be effervescent about it. You don't want to take it super seriously. You want to understand that the energy of manifesting is, I don't have to be heavy about this. I can put it out there to say very clearly what it is that I need, and then I release the how and the when. I release the trapped air. I don't need to know when it's going to happen. I don't need to know how. I just need to trust that it will happen. And then I'm open to receiving. So this is a really important message for you this week. The second card pull, I'll do the same thing where I'll pull from the oracle for you. What card has a message for you around your spiritual alignment? This one feels good. Become. Choose versus seek. Who am I becoming? I'm really drawn in this card to the sort of the diamond energy. So we've got a little bit of the black, the white, and the gray, but the gray is actually diamond energy. And what card can has a message for you around your spiritual alignment? For you, it's really tapping into, I want to say, the divine gateway chakra. It's going higher. It's going beyond the 7 chakra system. It's going into those realms where all is possible. It's using the imagination. It's tapping into your meditative abilities to increase your frequency, raise your vibration. I feel like that is the intention that you kind of want to set for yourself this week. When we're talking about spiritual alignment, for you, it's doing. It's actually doing the things that you know are going to bring you support, provide you support, give that extra boost of energy, help you to remain connected, to feel truly connected to self and source, to that high self and source space. And when we're talking about the become, choose versus seek, that's a really important message for you as well. It's choosing to do the things that you know are going to work for you versus seeking other things. There's nothing wrong with seeking. There's nothing wrong with being curious and learning more things and learning new things and trying different things. This is not the week to seek. This is the week to choose. Go with what you know, because what you know, you've already established a pattern that is working to help you get into that space or to feel supported. So step into the supported energy and it's only going to increase. Not a time for new. It's a time for going with what you know. Going with what you know works. The number on here is a 36. I just want to point that out, that it's another 9. So we have a lot of 9 energy that is coming through. And I'm just going to share a personal little story here with everyone, for you, Cynthia, as well as just everyone that's listening. I had a card pull. It wasn't yesterday. I think it was the day before. And I have a tendency, because I have so many decks, I pull from different decks. I pull different cards. I pull different whatever. I got 3 9s. 9, 9, 9. And I kept getting 9 all throughout the day. So I find it really fascinating and interesting that both you and Karen have pulled these 9 cards, the 9 energy as well. So we are all collectively in the energy of things wrapping up, resolution, conclusions to things, so that we can move forward. And it's very much in alignment with the general message about sitting in the space and allowing the space to let you know what it wants to become, allowing things to getting comfortable with not filling things up yet and allowing that to reveal itself. So I feel that you're in the energy of that as well. Thank you so much for submitting your question. I hope that makes some sense to you and resonates, and I hope you have an amazing week.
She will, because she is Cynthia. All right. I don't know if this is try red or a new try, but he says, hello, can you pull cards for me today?
Absolutely.
Try.
So if you are not try red, welcome try. And if you are try red, happy to see you back. So what card energy will help you to embrace your effervescence this week? You've got the Adept of Orbs. So the Adept, or the Adept of Orbs, is the Knight of Swords in the traditional tarot. And I feel for you, in terms of embracing your effervescence, it's really taking action on the, I want to say, the intuitive guidance that comes through. It's not the ego thoughts. It's not the monkey mind. It's actually the third eye, the intuitive guidance that comes through. You want to take action on it. Knights are all about quests. They're all about helping people. They're action oriented. They move forward. They're there in a pinch. They're there to seek things out, to provide, to find resources. they're there for all sorts of things, but in order for them to do it, they got to have the ability to do it, right? Knights aren't good when they're sitting around doing nothing and they have nothing to do or nothing to focus their time and their energy on. So for you, I feel this week, especially when we're talking about helping you embrace your effervescence, it's getting out and doing. It's, I have an inspiration and I'm not going to let it pass me by. I'm actually going to take action steps towards making it so. That can be action steps in terms of, okay, I got this idea. I'm going to Google it and just sort of see what the potentials are. It could be, I get an inspiration that I need to go to the ice cream shop for ice cream. Go to the shop for ice cream. Don't sit around and think about it. Just do it. You might meet someone there that you need to meet. You might provide information. You might just really enjoy the freaking ice cream. I mean, there's always a purpose. There's always a reason, but you're not going to have those experiences. And you're certainly not going to know what those experiences are there to bring you if you're not listening to the message. So take action on the message. And then what card has a message for you around your spiritual alignment today? Safe. You are loved. So I'm definitely feeling here in terms of your spiritual alignment, it's allowing yourself to believe that whatever is coming through, you can trust it. You can believe it. It's coming through because you are a conduit of the divine, because you do have spidey senses, because you can trust the intuition. And I want to say, no, we can't always trust our ego, because our ego isn't really about truth. Our ego is more about keeping us safe, right? It's a protective energy. But the intuition is never going to steer you wrong. Ever, 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 ever. Even when you follow it and it doesn't turn out the way you thought it was going to, it doesn't mean that the intuition was wrong. It means that the way you interpreted the intuition or the expectation that you placed on how that intuition was going to turn out, or why that intuitive message or guidance was given to you. It's all in how we interpret it, right? So don't interpret it, just follow it and be open to receiving, because you're safe to do so. The message here, you are loved. So when we're talking about spiritual alignment, what's going to help to bring you into spiritual alignment is knowing that you're loved, believing that at the core of you, receiving that. There are some roses on this card, and I feel that rose is going to be a big symbol for you. It's going to be a sign for you this week that when you are struggling, when you are feeling bad about yourself or questioning some choices that you made, I feel like the universe is going to show you a rose, whether that's showing you a big fat rose garden or someone giving you a rose, or you coming across roses on your walk or your path, or maybe it's, the 5 roses flower, I mean, you can get the sign anywhere if you're open to receiving it. They're going to work hard to give it to you. But I feel that the roses is going to be a reminder for you that you are safe and you are loved. So no matter what is going on in your world right now, you're going to get through it. You've got that support. So just know that you are not alone, that you are loved. Thank you so much for allowing me to pull some cards for you today.
You don't know this, but you, in that last reading, you did about 7 song titles. So
did I really?
I was smiling so much.
Oh, I love that. Well, I do live my life in references, movie and TV show references a lot. So yeah, songs can come into the mix too, because that's my background. So yeah, I didn't realize it.
Sort of like leave the gun, take the cannoli. Gotcha.
Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna pull from the Isis Oracle.
Love it.
Deck, and the card I'm pulling is Divine Sisterhood, community of spiritual sisters and brothers of the light.
I love it. Okay, so what card energy will help you to embrace your effervescence this week? Community. Getting out in community, having a little bit of fun, connecting with people, connecting with people for the sake of connecting with people, not for any other reason. I feel that that's going to bring about that lightness and releasing a lot of the heavier stuff that you've been dealing with, I feel like you feel weighed down. You feel all of these burdens. And so the effervescence, it's like these bubbles are trying to lift you, but they can't lift you because the liquid around you is so heavy. So it's basically saying, okay, I'm going to release a lot of these burdens I know it's still there. I know there are things that I still have to take care of, but I'm not going to sweat that right now. I'm going to take this time to just go out and have a little bit of fun. I'm going to take this time to step out of my mode of responsibility and step more into the space of, I have no responsibility of any kind right now in the next 2 hours. What do I want to do with my time? So I feel that that's really, really important. And that's how you're going to embrace that innocence, that effervescence, that playfulness.
I don't want to do these anymore because you scare me. Of course, Friday through Sunday is my busiest time of work, right? Mm-hmm. So yesterday, my friend goes, you know what? We're going to GalaxyCon. I goes, I can't go to GalaxyCon. I got to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So he said, no, we're going. I said, you know what? I never have any fun lately. I said, okay, we're doing it. And so I took everything off my schedule, and I'm not going to worry about anything Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it was just so funny that
perfect. Yeah. And you are going to feel light and bubbly when you're there. You are going to have a great time. And a Gemini who's not having fun, that's not a good thing. So you definitely need to clear that schedule and bring some more fun back into your life.
How did you know I was a Gemini?
Because you've told me before.
Oh, God. I forget everything.
Actually, I really don't have that great of a memory. Things are in and out, but there are certain things that I do remember and I do recall. So, yeah.
Well, I feel lucky. You remember things about people you care about. So
absolutely. That's exactly it. Exactly it. Are you going to pull a second card for the second question?
Okay, let's see what. Oh, she decided to jump out. Okay. Soul retrieval, deep soul healing with the goddess.
Love it. Okay, so the question is, what card has a message for you around your spiritual alignment? So before I give you a reading, I want you to take a look at the card, and I want you to tell me the first thing that jumps out at you on the imagery.
That she's holding an orb of light in her hand.
What does that orb of light look like or symbolize to you? What does it feel like to you?
A soul.
A soul. Okay, that's awesome.
Hard too. I forgot that fast. Okay.
Yeah. So I think you said it was soul retrieval. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Soul retrieval. I forgot the title that fast. I was just looking at the thing that you told me to look at.
Exactly. Well, that's what happens. That's what happens. You told me the thing and it was in one ear and out the other. And then I was asking you about the orb and you said, yeah, it feels like a soul. So obviously, even just looking at it as quickly as you did, you were receiving a lot of intuitive guidance and messaging around it. So the fact that you saw it as a soul, when we talk about the card that has a message for you around your spiritual alignment, I want to say for you this week, in terms of your spiritual, your energetic path, it's also about recognizing that it's time to call in aspects of your soul that have not been, I want to say, joined or have not been included or invited into your life. So soul aspects that have not been realized yet. So the fact that you were drawn to the orb in the hand and that's a soul, that's an aspect of you that wants to be seen, wants to be shown, wants to be heard. You're going to figure out what that is after you get back from GalaxyCon. So that, because you're opening yourself up, that effervescence, that funness, that lightness is going to clear your channel. And you're going to say, oh, you know what? I've always wanted to do this and this. And I have not successfully been able to do it because I've been trying so hard at it. And all of a sudden, I'm just getting this download. Here's the easy way to make it happen. And I'm going to incorporate it into what I'm doing. I'm adding to the pile. I'm not getting rid of anything necessarily. I'm adding to the pile. And I know now exactly how to do it and to have that be effortless effort. Yeah. So I feel like that's a message that's not going to resonate with you now, but it's definitely going to resonate with you after GalaxyCon. And you're going to come back to me next week and you're going to be like, holy shit balls. You said this and this is what happened. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I'm going to need two things after GalaxyCon. Soul retrieval is one, and I'm also going to need probably income retrieval because I'm probably going to spend some money. So I'm going to need.
You're going to be bringing in an aspect of your soul that's going to make you some money.
There's an income retrieval card in here somewhere.
You're so funny. I do the same thing every time I take a day off. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, just relax. It's coming. It's flowing. I'm not worrying about it. It is what it is.
Oh, man, that is funny.
That is funny. Anyone else today before we wrap up the show?
Oh, I love this comment by Brooks. I extra love it when people pull their own cards, and Stacy teaches us how to read for ourselves. Of course, who would not want Stacy to pull? She is so helpful and insightful both ways. I don't, Brooke, because she's always telling me things I need to do, like eat vegetables and be responsible and all these things I want no part of. I want to pull my own card, Brooke.
Well, as I like to say, I am only the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. And you do with the information whatever you choose to do with it.
All this accountability and
who needs that? Who needs to be accountable? No, we don't need any of that.
Being an adult is overrated. I keep telling the kids that, but they won't listen to me.
It's so true. Adulting has it. Well, you know what, though? I would never want to go back to my childhood. I would never want to go
I
back.
love being an adult. It's just an overrated experience. That's all.
I agree.
All the goods that did not.
Yes, no, I agree with you fully. We need to work on the process. We need to bring more effervescence to the process of adulting. That's for shizzle.
They don't teach you about taxes in the DMV and all that when you're a kid. They just
God, no kidding. You're telling me.
That's everybody for today. We had some really good reads. We had new people in here. That's great. Glad Karen made it back. I miss Ragu. I know you'll probably go back and watch this Ragu and oh my gosh, I'm having a brain freeze.
Indu and Ragu.
Ragu and Indu. Try Red. I don't know if that was you, but you're usually in here. So missed you today. And I'm missing one more person. Crystal. Crystal is usually here too. So Crystal, if you're here, thanks. If you're not, see you next week. Everybody remember, next week, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. That means it won't be morning time, and me and Stacy are probably going to be a lot more funnier. I'm just saying, we might be a little more funnier.
I would have to agree with you. So it's always going to be entertaining. It'll be extra entertaining next week. So looking forward to seeing everyone on Wednesday, and we will get caught up on our times. The format's going to shift only slightly in that I'm actually going to do an archangel channeling to add to the mix. And so I'm really looking forward to including that and incorporating that into the Demystify the Divine, because archangelic energy is a great tool that we all can use for understanding and supporting ourselves through the collective shifts, as well as bringing support and guidance for our energy in our individual lives. So looking forward to doing all of that. Looking forward to the change. So glad, Keone, that you are joining me on this journey. Sending everyone so much love. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.
Ciao. Oh no.